There is one issue about this arrangement that I just don't understand, which is Mr. Maumela owes you money. Sorry, Mr. Matlala owes you money. He says he also owes Mr. Maumela money. Or he needs money to get to Mr. Maumela. Why couldn't he just pay the money to Mr. Maumela himself? Why did he ask you to receive 1.5 million and pay 500,000 to Mr. Maumela? Did he ever explain that to you?
I kept on asking him and I kept on insisting, and I refused on several occasions, and then Mr. Maumela started calling me because Mr. Matlala gave him a commitment that I'll pay him. So now both of these guys were calling me, putting pressure on me to pay this monies. And I said, look, I said to Mr. Maumela, you need to talk to Mr. Matlala about this. I can't talk to you about it because money is coming from Ed. You need to talk to him. But they both kept on putting me under pressure to pay this money.
There. That's the question. Why would Kat Matlala ask another businessman to pay Morgan Maumela instead of simply paying Maumela himself? And here's what makes it stranger. According to Suleiman Carrim, Kat already owed him millions. Carrim finally gets some money back, and Kat allegedly wants part of it sent to Maumela. Carrim says he resisted. Kat kept pushing. Then, according to Carrim, Maumela started calling him as well. Eventually, Carrim paid. That was 5 months ago, and back then, one very important piece of the story was still missing. What exactly was the financial relationship between Kat Matlala and Morgan Maumela? Well, now Kat Matlala has taken the stand himself. So today we're going to do this in 2 parts. In the first half of this video, we go back to Carrim, his version, his money, the 1.5 million rand payment, the 500,000 rand sent toward Maumela, and the question Carrim could never really answer. Why Maumela? Then, in the second half, we come back to Kat Matlala's evidence from this week, and that is where Kat gives us his version. He explains how he knew Maumela, how they became friends, how they did medical supply business together, how money was put into those deals, and how profits were shared. Then the story moves one step further, because another name appears. Jothan Msibi. And this time, the commission has payment records in front of Kat, but Kat says he cannot remember why he was forwarding them. Welcome back to my channel, The Public Record. I'm Andrew. We follow hearings, documents, affidavits, court papers, media reports, and public interest evidence. So first, Carrim's version, then Kat's version, and somewhere between the two, we may finally understand why Morgan Maumela mattered so much in the first place. Let's keep Carrim's beginning simple. His evidence was that Kat approached him in 2024. Medicare 24 had secured the SAPS medical services contract. According to Carrim, Kat needed funding to perform under it. Carrim says he checked that the SAPS contract existed. Then he provided the money. His figure? 10 million rand. Carrim says the arrangement was that over the life of the contract, he would eventually receive 20 million rand. The repayment mechanism was tied to the equivalent of 10% of the payments Medicare 24 received from SAPS until the agreed amount had been settled. And there was another little detail. The agreement wasn't signed.
Mr. Mohosi then agreed to check for me. He reverted and said, yes, it is a valid contract. Vusi and I agreed that if I advanced the 10 million, I would be paid an additional amount of 10 million over a 3-year contract period. The repayment would be made at an equivalent of 10% of all payments received until the amount of 20 million was going to be paid. In terms of our agreement, we then set out the payment structure, which is attached. After July 2024, I would call Vusi from time to time and ask him whether he had received a signed SLA from SAPS and when can I expect a copy of this agreement between Medcare and SAPS, as we all had an agreement confirming our agreement. Because we had an agreement which was not signed, we agreed that we'll sign the agreement once the SLA was signed by SAPS.
Now, Kat has subsequently given a different number. Carrim says 10 million rand, Kat says 15 million rand. That's a 5 million rand difference between lender and borrower. Interesting. But leave it there, because the part I want you to watch starts when Carrim finally gets some money back.
4th of February 2025, Mr. Matlala WhatsApps you a proof of payment, and that proof of payment is at page 36 of the bundle. It's the 1.5 million payment from Medicare to Tembisa.
Yes.
If you can then go to page 535, you will see that 7 seconds after Mr. Matlala sent you proof of payment to Tembisa, he sends the same proof of payment to Mr. Morgan Maumela.
Correct.
And that proof of payment that he sends to Mr. Maumela is at page 537.
5.
If we go back to page 7, if you go back to page 7, you'll see that at 15:13:31, this is another 12 seconds after the proof of payment has been sent to Mr. Maumela, Mr. Matlala calls you.
Yes.
What was he calling about?
7 seconds. Carrim gets proof that the 1.5 million rand has arrived. 7 seconds later, the commission says Kat sends the same proof to Morgan Maumela. 12 seconds after that, Kat phones Carrim. Now ask yourself something. Why does Maumela need to know within 7 seconds that Carrim has just received money? According to Carrim, there was already money Kat wanted moved in Maumela's direction. The original amount Carrim gives? 750,000 rand. Carrim says no. And from Carrim's point of view, that's not difficult to understand. This is a man who says Kat still owes him millions. He has been waiting for repayment. Finally, 1.5 million rand arrives, and now a large chunk is supposed to go somewhere else. Carrim refuses the 750,000 rand. Eventually, the figure becomes 500,000 rand, and Carrim pays. So now the commission wants to know why. By then, Carrim had seen media reports containing serious allegations involving Matlala and Maumela in relation to Tembisa Hospital. Let's be precise. Those were allegations. They were not findings of guilt. Carrim himself made that distinction, but the commission wasn't asking him to prove what was in the newspapers. They wanted to know what was going through his mind. If those reports concerned you, why send the money? And Carrim's answer is worth hearing.
Why in those circumstances did you choose to pay 500,000, 1/3 of what your first payment was, to Mr. Maumela?
Like I said, Council, before, Mr. Matlala put a lot of pressure. He wanted me to pay 750. And once I saw these newspaper articles, I did not want to get into their crosshairs. And when I looked at these articles, I said to Mr. Matlala, it's fine. I can't pay 750. What I'll do is I'll pay 500. I cannot do 750.
Why did you pay anything at all? This man owed you money, large amounts of it.
Yes, but there were more invoices coming, and he promised me that on the next payments, he'd do good and give me a top-up on that.
Crosshairs. That's Carrim's word. He says Kat was putting him under pressure. He says he didn't want to get into their crosshairs. And remember, Carrim was still hoping to recover the rest of his money. But now look at what this transaction has become. Kat owes Carrim money. Carrim receives money. Kat asks Carrim to pay Maumela. Carrim doesn't want to. Carrim eventually does it. So was Carrim simply passing along money that really belonged to Kat? Because if that's the case, he starts looking like a conduit. Carrim resisted that description, and the commission forced him to choose.
No, but either it was your money, in which case you weren't a conduit, or it was Mr. Matlala's money, in which case you were a conduit. Because if it was Mr. Matlala's money all along, then you were really acting as a conduit for Mr. Matlala to pay Mr. Maumela. If it was your money, then you have elected, essentially, to use your own money to pay Mr. Maumela, because that's what Mr. Matlala wants you to do, and you will now have an additional claim against Mr. Matlala to claim that back.
Mr. Matlala asked me to pay that monies and said he'll replace those monies.
So, was it Mr. Matlala's money that you were paying to Mr. Maumela, or do you accept that it was your own money that you were paying to Mr. Maumela?
It was my own money.
There. Carrim accepts. It was his own money. Kat asked him to make the payment, and according to Carrim, Kat would make it good later. So Carrim can tell us what happened from his side, but 5 months ago, he couldn't really tell us what sat behind the financial relationship between Kat and Maumela. That's where we leave Carrim, because now we can ask Kat himself. And even getting Kat to answer questions about Maumela took some work. Kat raised his rights against self-incrimination. He relied on special tribunal material to support his belief that he could be under investigation in relation to the Maumela matters. The commissioners examined what he produced, and on that particular document, Kat was not listed as a respondent. Eventually, he accepted that the document did not establish the point he was relying on. So the questioning continued. Morgan Maumela. Who exactly was he to Kat Matlala?
I think that I first met Mr. Maumela, I think it'll be around 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. 2015, 2016, somewhere around there.
Thanks.
And my relationship with him, it was because both we have passion for sports cars. So there is this restaurant that we both we used to frequent in that restaurant somewhere in Sandton. So we used to meet each other there, and then because I like this car, and then that's when we started our relationship, because of the love of cars.
So would it be fair then to conclude that you are friends with Mr. Maumela and you share a passion for sports cars?
I conclude that, yes.
Do you have any other relationship with him, including business relationship or any relationship that leads to any one of you benefiting financially?
Yes, we do.
It starts with cars. Kat says you met Maumela around 2015 or 2016. They both liked expensive sports cars. They frequented the same restaurant in Sandton. They became friends. Nothing remarkable about that. Then comes the important question. Was there another relationship? Business? Financial benefit? Kat says yes. Now we're somewhere completely different. According to Kat, he and Maumela were also involved in medical supply business, Department of Health work, RFQs, medical consumables, and an arrangement where money was put into the business. Kat explains it using an example. He puts in 1 million rand. Maumela puts in 1 million rand. That money sits with what Kat describes as the main supplier. Now let's say Kat's company gets a Department of Health RFQ. He needs medical stock. He draws it against the money sitting with the supplier. His company delivers, government pays. The amount used for the stock gets replenished. Then comes the profit. According to Kat, if he gets the work, Maumela receives 10% of Kat's profit. And if Maumela gets the work, Kat receives 10% of Maumela's profit. Don't confuse that with Carrim's 10%. They're different arrangements. The important part here is much simpler. According to Kat's own evidence, he and Maumela had money in business together. And getting a clean explanation of exactly how that arrangement worked wasn't easy. The commissioners reduced it to a very simple example. Buy something for 200,000 rand. Sell it for 300,000 rand. There's 100,000 rand profit. Who gets what? And after going round the numbers, the commission's patience starts disappearing.
What is confusing, at least for me, is when you pay the supplier, there are 200,000.
Yes.
That money comes from your bank account
Yes.
or Mr. Maumela's bank account.
Yes.
That's what you're saying,
Yes.
right? So you get that. And then you supply it to the hospital. Let's say it's a hospital. You supply it to a hospital. And it's 300,000 now when you supply to the hospital. You bought for 200 and the hospital pays you 300.
Yes.
You now have 100 rand profit or 100,000 rand profit.
Yes.
How does that get dealt with? It comes into your personal account,
Of course, yes.
and then what happens?
And then Mr. Maumela will get 10% of that profit.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to suggest this, Mr. Matlala. I think you are doing this deliberately. You, less than 2 years ago, you won a 360 million contract from SAPS. And that, you can't have executed that contract with this understanding where we struggle to understand from you about money and transactions and suppliers, and it cannot be. You are doing this deliberately so that we go round and round in circles. Yes, you are.
No, I'm
Yes.
not.
That's the commissioner saying it. But for our story, Kat's admission is more important than the frustration. Friendship wasn't the whole relationship. There was a financial relationship. And there's another piece of official context we can't ignore. The SIU's investigation into Tembisa Hospital. According to the SIU's interim Tembisa Hospital findings, it was reviewing 1,728 procurement bundles worth approximately 816.56 million rand associated with the grouping it describes as the Maumela Syndicate. The SIU says it traced 41 suppliers or service providers linked to that grouping, and it identified 3 companies linked to Matlala with contracts worth about 13.54 million rand. Now, don't make a jump that the evidence doesn't allow. Kat's testimony does not prove that Carrim's 500,000 rand payment was part of that procurement trail. We don't know that. But we do now know something that Carrim couldn't give us 5 months ago. A financial relationship between Kat and Maumela is not speculation. Kat confirmed it himself. And that's when another man enters the story. Kat also knew the late Jothan Msibi. His company provided security services to him. Kat also described introducing Maumela and Msibi in connection with a possible sports car transaction. According to Kat, that particular car deal didn't happen. Then the commission starts going through payment records. And suddenly, Kat isn't merely introducing 2 men over a car. He's forwarding payment information. The records discussed include payments of 1.3 million rand, 200,000 rand, 3 million rand. And another 500,000 rand payment was also examined. One of the proofs of payment carried the reference M. Maumela, and Kat had forwarded payment information to Msibi. So the commission asked the obvious question, why is Kat sending it?
I said I do not know what was that payment for. I don't know that.
So you say you don't know what the payment was for.
Yes.
Were you involved in any manner in the payment?
Involved how,
In
Commissioner?
any manner? That was the question.
It's Mr. Maumela who paid Mr. Msibi.
It's Mr. Maumela paying Mr. Msibi. Were you involved?
It's not actually Mr. Msibi, because it's Mr. Koza. When I see the bank, what is it called? The proof of payment. It's Mr. Koza. But the money was sent to, the proof of payments, I sent them to Mr. Msibi.
Why?
I will assume that maybe Mr. Maumela asked me to send the proof of payment to Mr. Msibi.
So now we have left the payment of 4 million between Mr. Msibi and Mr. Maumela, and now it has become payment between Mr. Khoza and Mr. Maumela. But then you send the proof of payment to Mr. Msibi. Is that a fair understanding of what you are saying?
Commissioner, if I knew what was the payment, because now what I'm about, I will answer, it will be out of assumptions. I don't know what is the payment for, and then I don't even remember me sending that proof of payment, but because it's there, I might have sent it, yes, but I don't remember what was that for.
I didn't ask you what it was for. I'm trying to understand. Originally, you said that Mr. Msibi, Mr. Maumela, somewhere there was an exchange of 4 million that you since reminded of.
Yes.
Towards the tail end of what you were saying, you then introduced Mr. Khoza and Mr. Maumela, as if the exchange was between the two of them. And then you said you forwarded the proof of payment to Mr. Msibi. That's your testimony.
Yes, according to what I saw on
So
the
then I
chats.
ask, why would, if it's between Mr. Khoza and Mr. Maumela, why do you send it to Mr. Msibi? The proof of payment.
Kat says he doesn't know what the payment was for. He doesn't remember why he forwarded it. And if the records show he sent it, then he accepts that apparently he did. So Kat tries to reconstruct what may have happened. Maybe Maumela asked him to forward it. Maybe Maumela didn't have Msibi's number. But Kat makes something clear. He's reconstructing. He doesn't actually remember. So the commissioner strips away the speculation. What did either man actually ask you to do? Kat still can't remember. And then comes a pretty brutal way of testing that explanation. Could Kat simply have woken up one morning, looked at somebody else's multi-million rand proof of payment, and randomly decided, Msibi should see this?
It's because Mr. Maumela never had Mr. Msibi's number. So I forwarded it because I'm the one who had Mr. Msibi's number. But like I said, I do not recall what was that payment for. I don't even remember me sending that proof of payment, but I see that I did send that proof of payment.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioners. So you concluded that Mr. Msibi would have an interest in these proof of payment, and that's why you shared them with him? Is that a fair understanding, or am I misunderstanding you?
I wanted to comment, but I said it will be an assumption because I will think maybe Mr. Msibi asked him and Mr. Maumela. They had some other businesses which I was not aware of, and then Mr. Maumela wanted me to show him that he paid that money. I don't know.
I'm more interested in what either one of them said to you about sharing the proof of payment.
I do not remember even that thing happening, Commissioner, so I cannot answer that.
So you are saying you could potentially have just woken up one morning and said it might be a good idea to share this proof of payment with one of them?
Commissioner,
You wouldn't know, you don't remember.
So what was your question?
My question is, you could very well have woken up one cold morning and decide you are going to share this piece of information and give the proof of payment.
It cannot be like that.
Okay.
For me to do that, someone must have asked me to do that.
Okay. So at least one of them asked you to do that. So
Of
you
course,
received
yes.
the proof of payment from
Yes.
one of them and you shared with the other.
Yes.
And you are saying it's because either one of them would have asked you.
Of course, yes.
Okay. That makes logical sense.
Eventually, Kat accepts the logical point. Someone must have asked him. But who? He can't remember. What was the payment for? He can't remember. Why did Miss Msibi need the proof? He can't remember. And about after hearing enough of that, Commissioner Baloyi comes in. I'm not going to explain her reaction for her. Listen.
You were asked, you don't even remember how, you say, I don't know, maybe someone asked me to forward it, but it's difficult to accept that that is a truthful and complete answer from you. It's a lot of money that you have forwarded. Mr. Maumela is your contact. Mr. Msibi is your contact. You have dealings with both of them, Mr. Msibi and Mr. Maumela. You had and you have dealings with them. There is no scenario, plausible scenario, where you have absolutely no recollection of how a total of nearly 3 million rand, you have absolutely no recollection of how it came about that you are sharing. You're the one that's forwarding payment notifications to Mr. Msibi. It's just unbelievable, I must say, that you have no recollection whatsoever. It's one thing to offer possibilities. You say, well, we have these dealings and that dealings, maybe it's one of them, but to sit there and say, I have absolutely no recollection, it's just unbelievable.
So here's the question I want to leave with you. After hearing Carrim's evidence 5 months ago, and now Kat's own explanation of his financial relationship with Maumela, what do you think that 500,000 Rand payment was really for?